Hey Frugivore, so I'm going to show you some off-grid sewing with my hand crank 100-year-old Singer sewing machine. We were obviously meant to be together because she has fruit on her, she has a grapevine. But in this video I want to show you how I made these very easy pair of pants, and I'm an absolute beginner, so you can do this too, and I'm doing it on a 100-year-old hand crank machine. So just grab some ultra light stretchy material. Well, that's what I used anyway, and it worked out good. This is very light. It feels like you're wearing nothing. It's amazing. It stretches both ways. You're meant to use it that way, I believe, but I used it the other way because the pattern lines up better. You probably need about 2 to 2.5 yards, and I just kind of winged it with this. Okay, I don't have experience with stretchy material, but the pattern still turned out really well. The easiest way to do this is just to copy a pair of pants that you already have, like tights or something, or these long tights that I have that are kind of flary at the bottom. So I just laid them on the material. I have the material facing, like the good size facing each other. And then I use a disappearing ink fabric marker to trace all around the folded pants. Just like that, very simple. Try and do it as accurately as you can, and then flip the pants over and do the same to the other side. So front and back is just the same because it's stretchy material and it's going to be fine. You'll just fill it out where you need to, and then you're going to go in and cut. So my apologies, before you do that you should put a seam allowance. Okay, you can see that I've got this seam allowance. Go around the tracing about 1 inch or half an inch away from the tracing line that you made. Yeah, just so you got that seam allowance. Okay, time to sew. Now just sew along that line, sew those pieces together at the crotch there. So now it's time to grab your hand crank 100-year-old Singer sewing machine and yeah, wind that bobbin, baby, wind that bobbin. And I'm just going to leave in some of the sounds because it's just so amazing. I love it. It's like therapy. I really am enjoying sewing, and hopefully you like some of the sounds of me sewing. If you want to see a video all about this amazing sewing machine, let us know in the comments below. So she was born before there was any reverse function on machine, so I have to manually reverse her, just to do that initial lock-in stitch, and it's very easy. Pick up the footer and you just go back and go over those initial 2 stitches. Very easy. I'm a beginner and I can do it. So go back to sewing those sides together just along the crotch kind of region. And I find it really helps to have that line, that seam line, because I just line up the stitches with that line, and because it's a hand crank I only have one hand to guide the material. It's really good, but make sure you don't stretch the material out as you are guiding the material. That's really important, or it's going to pucker. One thing I did learn during this process is if you're using stretch material, you should really have a thread that has some stretch in it as well. That's very valuable because you could bust the seams because there's no give in the thread. So I love how quickly this comes together. Look, they're already looking like pants. It gets me excited. I can see a result really quick, so I'm really keen to get into it. So face the good sides of the pants towards each other. Okay, so not like that. All right, that's how I was initially going to do it. I'm like, oh no, that's not right. So I turned it over like that. Yeah, or else it's just the thread is going to end up on the outside. And throughout this process I've been using clips mainly, because pins, I did actually end up using pins, and then I did a bit of research. I'm like, oh, they can ruin stretchy material, so it's better if you have ballpoint pins, I believe, and also use it in the hemline so it's not actually ruining any of the material, in the outside hem. But I use these clips and they're pretty good. Just try and line it up as best as you can. That's really important. So the pattern lines up, and spend some time doing that. And when it comes to what needle to use for the sewing machine, I just use a needle that came with the sewing machine initially, and then I switched to this stretch needle. But then I did some research, and some individuals are saying that ballpoint needle is better, so I'm not sure. Just do a little bit of research, and you'll come up with the right needle for the material that you're using. Okay, so it's time to go back to the sewing machine and sew all along the leg, down from the crotch where I'm pinning there, all the way down to where you want your pants to finish, how long your legs are. So all along that middle section. And as you can see, I just use a straight stitch instead of a zigzag stitch because I don't have a zigzag attachment for the old Singer. So I also just went ahead and sewed the side as well on this one side, but we can do it together here. Do the other side all the way down to where you want the leg to finish. So at this stage, it's probably a good idea to try them on, and I did, and I was really impressed by how well they fit. I was like, yay, I could leave them like this, but you can't really leave them like that because it needs some elastic. And but I could just use, you know, some white elastic and fold it over in there. But I decided to use this black a t-shirt stretch material, something, I don't know what it's called, but it feels so much better on the body, and I'm going to go into that in a moment. But yeah, they fit really well. I haven't adjusted the bottom there, as you can see. Yeah, so here's this t-shirt ribbing, and it's really stretchy, as you can see, and it can be used as a waistband, and it works perfectly. And my mum actually put me onto this, and mum, thank you so much. I'm really happy you did, because it really works well and it feels great. It's soft, and what you do is just determine how thick you want the band. I wanted it quite thick so I could have it up, or I could fold it over as well. So make sure you make it thick enough, like cut it thick enough, but you want to wrap it around your body, and that's a great way to measure it rather than using measuring tape. I just like wrap it around my body and at full stretch, because you want it to, you know, sit that way when it's on you. You don't want it to be floppy. You want it to be keeping the pants up. Yeah, so once you've cut your band to size, then you want to attach it to your pants. And it's really not difficult. I know it's going to seem like a difficult process, but I'm an absolute beginner, trust me. So you might want to like join the ends of the band so it's round and joined like a tube, but I can't really do that on the Singer sewing machine. It's better if I have it like not joined, and you'll see why soon. So that's how it's going to go. You can fold it up like that. So you have to have it on the good side, sew it onto the good side, which is kind of unusual because you're usually doing things on the opposite side. So what I do is I get the exact measurement for my waist so I can't go wrong, and you've got to make it like line up. So I'm not really technical at this at all. I just stretch it. I make sure I don't stretch the material underneath the pants. So the pants themselves, I don't stretch them, but I stretch the actual band, because you got to stretch it out so it fits, you know, once you attach it, or else it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense once you have it in front of you, but you want to stretch that, and it's kind of hard when it's, you know, one hand, you're doing one-handed. So I'm stretching it, and I'm hand cranking, and I'm making sure I'm not stretching the underneath material. And please don't think it's difficult. You can do it, okay? You really can do it. Just, you know, practice on some scrap material first. It's really not that difficult, and you want it to like fit all the way around stretched. You know, you want to stretch it the whole way around. Hopefully this is making sense. And I'm just getting to the end there and attaching them, and I made a little bit of a mess there, but just do it however you can. Just attach it however you can, and then you can hide it. You can hide the sins later on, and I'm quite good at doing that. But I don't mind if there's a few little errors, you know, it doesn't really worry me at all. And hey presto, there she is. It turned out really good. She turned out really good. I'm so happy, so comfortable. These are actually my favorite pants I think I've ever worn. And so you can fold over, fold the strap down, or fold it over, do a bit of dance, you know, and they're quite stretchy. So glad how they turned out. I love the material. I just hope they don't bust the seam, because I didn't use that thread that has a bit of elastic in it, and that's something I really recommend you do. Use thread that has a bit of elasticity, so then you can just, you know, do gymnastics in them, no problem, to your splits, and you'll be fine. But they're quite flexible, and I'm very careful when I'm wearing them. And for the bottom, I just like left them kind of rough. Like, I love stretchy material because you don't have to hem it. You know, it's not going to fray, so it's really awesome like that. So just do whatever you want with the bottom. If you want them to flare out, kind of like you can cut them up a bit higher so they open on the leg a bit. You want them a bit cooler, but this material is super cool. It's very thin. It is just like being nude. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you want to see more, if you want me to make a matching top, give it a thumbs up. Let us know in the comments below what you think. I'd love to hear comments, and any advice you can give a beginner, I appreciate so much. So, alright. So stay tuned for more videos. I might make a separate channel for my crafty stuff, and also introduce the 100-year-old singer in a separate video. Okay, talk to you soon.